Perhaps everyone dreams to fly, and UDAN is one such dream which has fulfilled this desire of thousands and lakhs of Indians. In fact, UDAN is completing its 8 years, and in fact, this is one such scheme which has benefited many across the country, where the UDAN stands for Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, and perhaps this is one such scheme which was aimed to boost connectivity between the tier 1, 2, 3 cities with the cosmopolitan cities and to boost the connectivity amongst each other. Well, as of now, 617 such routes are operational, and it's not just the aircraft which are being flown on these routes, but helicopters are also in play. In fact, helicopters are also being run on these very routes which have been made under the UDAN scheme. Well, UDAN is one such initiative which was started by the Modi government back in 2016, and in fact this year it completes its 8 years. Like I mentioned, this scheme has benefited many, and perhaps certain destination we all admire to go, perhaps like Pangong Lake or Tuso, or in fact if we talk about Shillong as well. These are certain routes which have been actually connected very well via this very UDAN scheme. And in fact, when it completes its 8 years, there are a lot of milestones for this very scheme. In fact, right now, if we take a look closely on the operations of the scheme, it's currently going around in its fifth phase, which is under the 5.2 phase, where the small aircraft are also being run on these very routes. And perhaps this benefit is directly given to the customer, and also the airlines are taking a reap benefit of this entire situation. What happens is, and in fact this is a grant which is also given by the government to the airlines for operating flights on these very routes. In fact, if we talk about the airlines give a direct benefit to the customers under the UDAN scheme. How? So basically what happens, the airlines cap certain seats on the aircraft under the UDAN scheme, and also the price is regulated on those very seats, which means that the price cap is there, like fare for a particular place cannot go beyond a particular amount. So this very thing has actually boosted a lot of morale of the people also in the country to take part in this civil aviation transformation which India and Bharat is witnessing right now. In fact, if we look at the numbers also, around 617 routes are operational, and in fact more and more routes have been added and are being added to this very tally of UDAN. Now, if we go by how it's benefiting not only the locals, but also it is boosting business for the business operators in tier 2 or tier 3 cities. In fact, in latest, the kind of data which was shared by the Ministry of Civil Aviation was quite encouraging when it comes to operation of flights on these very routes. Perhaps this is boosting local economy as well, and cities like Ayodhya are also very well connected when it comes to the UDAN scheme of the Civil Aviation Ministry in particular. And perhaps when it completes its 8 years, the scheme is also entering into its new phase, where more and more routes are being added, and perhaps more and more airlines will be starting to operate flights in huge numbers. In fact, if you look at the numbers also, be it any airlines, if we talk about Vistara, if we talk about Indigo, if we talk about Air India, all are participating in collaboration with the government on the UDAN scheme. In fact, these very flight operators, in fact, most of the Indian flight operators are flying flights on the UDAN routes, and in fact, those very people are also taking a huge benefit of these very exclusive routes which have been now made possible for the people living in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities.